hands on myself like a madman. I am a madman. Hey, how's it going? Dan Mayo here. This is RuMayoNation. Yes, world. How's it going? It's been a pretty fucking crazy week on the internet and in the world in general. The internet obviously being the thing that kind of the conduit of, or at the very least, the template, the framework of which, in me, we kind of decide how the world's going, right? The internet is kind of what gives us our information now. And I did think, do I even talk about some of the crazy shit that's gone on? And then I thought, yeah, probably, because this is RuMayoNation, where we ruminate on things, and there's some laughter, sure, but there's also some tears. And when something's two things really as significant as the Unite the Kingdom's freedom of speech march, and obviously the events in America around Charlie Kirk, it feels like it'd be perhaps tone deaf to not talk about it. It's something that has been on my mind a lot this week, and that's what this is. It's me talking about what's on my mind, and hopefully it's a bit entertaining, not too heavy going, but so as always, I'll go through the list of what's to be said. We're going to talk about the Charlie Kirk incident, a little bit off the back of that, the Unite the Kingdom's rally, march, whatever we're going to call it. And I'm going to try and make it as apolitical as possible, in as much as is possible with something which is so heavily entrenched in politics. We're going to talk internal household conflict around the draining board, which I'd say is a bit more serious than the aforementioned things. We had Partygate. We had to go to a party on Sunday. And the cost of living, man. Do you know it's crazy? And that, again, we'll get to it. There's an update on the buggy. We'll put a little previously on RuMayoNation. Oh, got a reply. For those listening, I'm just being physically bereft at the minute. So just to remind everyone, I said my wife works in Luton, so can maybe come across after work one day, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. She's just replied, today, it's Monday! Which is none of those fucking days! There's been movement. We've got a new gimmick. It's another monster. It is a bit diabolical, but not too diabolical. It's about 10:30 on Monday the 15th of September when I'm recording this. I could have gone earlier. I was potting around dealing with some SD card shit, some tech issues. Also, I noticed last week there was a bit of an issue with the focus, where it's kind of automatically focusing on certain things I put on the desk or what have you. I've not fixed it. I feel like I should go into the focus settings, but I've not fucking got round to it. Obviously, okay? Because for all the will in the world, there are lots of things I want to do. Loads. There's a book that I want to read. Then I'm like, maybe I can read this, but no, you've got to do this football admin, you've got to message this referee, etc. There's always fucking something. But yeah, so we've got a gimmick to try. We've got a gimmick goblet to try it in. So I guess we'll just crack on with that straight away. So this is a monster. And it's Lando Norris, who is a Formula 1 driver for McLaren. Do you know what's fucking good? I think I spoke about this in the past, actually. That Drive to Survive on Netflix is excellent. If you're not into F1, and I really wasn't, still not really. If I could have spoiler-free seasons and just learn what happens on that kind of dramatized documentary, it'd be incredible. But just seeing the sort of off-track stuff, it makes you more invested in care. And Lando Norris and McLaren, it's crazy how their ascension. And as good as Lando Norris is, obviously being the British lad that we all want to kind of buzz, and I think they've made him sort of the primary driver. I don't know if that's changed. But Oscar Piastri, the other guy in the McLaren, the Aussie, I mean, he's fucking good. I'm pretty sure he's out in front. I used to have such a good bit, if I do say so myself, in my stand-up about how Formula 1 is fucking stupid, because every week people tune in to find out, if the best driver in the fastest car wins all the races, and yeah, he does. But it's better than that as well. The delivery was a lot better than that. But yeah, okay, so this is Lando Norris Monster. Does he drink it? Probably not. Like when you see when you have UFC fighters at the end of their fight holding that can of Monster Energy drink, which is blatantly empty. There's no way of doing that. I don't care how good an actor you are. Let's just try this, because I'm doing that thing where do you ever get annoyed with that? When someone's on TV or whatever, or in real life, and they're holding a drink to their mouth but never quite get to drinking it, really pisses me off, so I won't do that to you. Oh, yeah, that's lovely, that. That's a nice drop. What flavour is it supposed to be? Obviously, we know it's got taurine. We know it's got ginseng in it. That goes without saying. It's got 0 sugar in it, so therefore it's healthy. What flavour is it? Oh, multiple Formula One race winner. Lando Norris spends his weekends racing 230 spaceships. And this 0 spaceships? Okay, they're taking creative liberty there. And this 0 sugar Monster Energy drink tastes exactly how you'd imagine that feels. I don't think it quite evokes that. You'll be won over with the freshest of flavours, and this can is wrapped in the same iconic... Do I read a lot? Sometimes. And this can is wrapped in the same iconic helmet design he races on track. It's the taste of the future packed into one can. I thought that's what it tasted like. I'm getting notes of like tropical stuff, but mostly future. Watch your back. The new era is here, and it's tasting good. Yeah, but what flavour is it, though? It's kind of a bit tropically. It is very nice. It's going to corrode my gimmick goblet, though. That goes without saying. But yeah, I just got to be careful. Be careful. So my daughter went to a different preschool last year. I'm guessing there was like a Polish lady that worked there. And I think Libertine splashed someone. And obviously the lady was quite rightly... Am I loud enough on here? I don't know. I should be. And the lady was like, obviously has an accent, saying, be careful, because Libertine used to come home and say it in an accent, which is fucking funny. She's such a mimic, man. Like, there was, I think, a door. We were getting ready to go out on Saturday morning, and this door squeaked while Libertine was just sort of getting her shit together. And the door kind of went, so she went, just without even thinking. I'm like, oh, man, I've passed on so much of my shit, man. I've passed on so much of my shit. Her justice sensitivity as well. So I know there's a parent of one of the kids of the football team that I coach who is in the preschool that my daughter goes to now, and she's in there for 1 day a week, and it's today actually. And I was like, how's she getting on? She's like, oh yeah, she loves it. She's cracking me up. She's always making me laugh. She's fiery, and I'm like, yeah. She's like playing with this thing where you like push it, and I think it like shoots a rocket up sort of thing. And the kid rode over it on some sort of like pedal bike, and apparently my daughter was like, hey, and got up and like ran after him to just tell him off. I'm like, yeah, soz about that. Like, enjoy it. She's funny, but soz about the other stuff too. Do you know what? She's getting so much like me, like where she started to do things to wait for you to look at her to find it funny. And the thing she's doing at the minute, she does this dance where she sort of, and you won't be able to see my hips to get the full effect, but she kind of goes, and then you'll look and she's doing it. And it's hilarious, but I also then find myself sitting there thinking...
And you're sitting there thinking...
How long have you been doing that? Like, how long have you been doing that waiting for me to look? Because I do that shit all the time. Like, I'll hide behind a bin because I know my wife's coming downstairs. But she'll get distracted doing this, that, and the fucking other. And it's like... Or I'll sit watching telly going... Just waiting for her to look. And I know sometimes it's been like 4 or 5 minutes. And I don't think she's quite doing it for that long. But, yeah... It is funny. But yeah, so she's over at preschool. Fiery, man. Fiery, faux show. But yeah, I've got to be careful how I frame this because I don't want the focus all out of whack. Because if something's got to be focused, and it's not going to be me, it's just got to be the fucking camera. Right, okay then. Let's get a bit serious about this. And in as much as I can ever be serious about anything. Bit mad, isn't it? Bit mad that Charlie Kirk... described in the news, which I'd say quite for nefarious reasons, as being a far-right influencer, which I think somewhat diminishes and degrades what it is that he actually did. And let me set my stall out early, right? I didn't agree. Oh no, I'm doing that gimmick thing that they do on TV shows when someone passes away. He loved. Touch of Cloth does that so well. Great show, by the way. Anyway, how's it going to be in focused? Like, Doctor's eyes closed because it's important. I don't agree with a lot of what he says, okay? Like, I don't. But what I really massively do agree with is the way that he went about expressing his beliefs, in that he would go and sit at universities, wherever else the fuck, under a little gazebo and a sign that says, I think, like, prove me wrong or whatever the fuck. And then he'd have a microphone himself, and then there'd be an open microphone. And it'd be like, cool. Who thinks I'm a cunt here? Come and tell me why. Let's talk about it, right? Open discourse. he has very inflammatory views on certain things. A lot of it is heavily entrenched in his evangelical Christian ideals. Okay, again, the landscape, certainly the religious landscape, I'd argue in America, are very different to here. I think the evangelicals are quite staunchly scripture-based livers, if that's a term I can use as a verb. But yeah, he has some, I'd say, some questionable views on things like abortion. I think questionable is probably putting it very lightly. I think he has some questionable views on guns, which obviously the irony not lost on everybody, but I'm going to suggest it probably didn't need pointing out immediately after the fact he was gunned down. I think the gun landscape in America is very difficult a topic to navigate anyway. I can't really find the way to get my head around it. It's so luckily quite far removed from here. Obviously, we have knife crime, which is another issue in and of itself. But with the gun situation in America, if you're asking, you shouldn't really just be allowed to walk around with an assault rifle on your shoulder, because an assault rifle pointing up at the sky on your shoulder very quickly becomes an assault rifle being pointed at children in a school without much of a movement beyond that, which feels like there should be more than that to make that a possibility. But the snake's out the bag. Don't know if that's a saying.
Nope.
But the snake's out the bag. Like, the Pandora's box is open. There are guns everywhere. And if you were to just, for me, again, based on just very much an external guy looking in, and that guy happens to be a bit of a fucking idiot. If you were to go one day, right, we've decided guns just being openly available to everybody isn't the best idea in the world. I think the statistics prove that it's detrimental. It does more harm than good. A lot of it will be gang-based shooting, of course. Fucking schools, which is incredibly fucking awful. So, but if you were to say, right, no more guns, we shouldn't just all have guns. It's just not, the only people giving the guns back are the people who respect the law. So then what you then have is a landscape in which all the bad guys have guns, and a lot of the good guys now don't have guns. So whenever there's an atrocity involving a gun, the people who are for guns, their argument, from what I can gather, is, well, if we had more guns, we could take out that person who had that gun who did those bad things. I've seen plenty of videos on the internet, because the internet is fucking wild, and definitely adjusting our neurochemistry, by the way. For sure it is. You're seeing boobs and blood at a rate of knots that nobody should. And okay, fine, it's algorithms. It's their fault, we can blame it. But if you linger on it for too long, it's there, right? You look at one girl on Instagram who's eating a pizza, and they happen to have a lovely little bit of cleavage going on. And Insta goes, okay, we got ourselves a pervert. The next fucking 8 videos, that's all you're getting, right? And like, I've seen videos where there's someone holding up, a shop at gunpoint, and then some other guy, I've seen like a diner, and then another guy in the background just is like, oh fucking hell no, pat, 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 down the assailant goes, and innocent lives have been spared. Not that that guy's potentially going to shoot the person anyway, but he's pointing a gun at someone who's presumably innocent, just trying to sell some fucking bond in a cafe. So that's their argument, right? It's like, when there's a nutcase going around a school, then if the teachers are armed, then they can be like, not today, motherfucker, kind of thing. So the snake's out the bag there, right? So,
nope.
It is, and I know it's heavily entrenched in their, the founding fathers. Is it the Second Amendment, the gun thing? So I know it's, and again, I know. So his thing is like, they're very much about freedom, and the right to bear arms is their thing. Again, I think that's in a world of once upon a time, it was a different landscape. Maybe it should have been moved by the wayside before now, but maybe it's too far down the road. So he has views on that I don't agree with. I could sit here probably for a fucking hour saying loads of things about him and his ideas I do not agree with. But that is irrelevant to my actual point in any of this. My actual point is that we should not be celebrating, rejoicing, or taking joy in the fact that an innocent man has been violently executed, assassinated in public in front of his, wife and small children for the beliefs that he holds. Like, that's not held. Like, and I feel like that should be pretty open and shut, no matter who you are, what your political alignments are. I think we should all agree, someone getting violently murdered, assassinated, shot in the throat for having beliefs that are different to other people is not a good thing. And I'm very hard pressed to talk about anything like this on my Facebook, but I did post because I saw quite a few people being like, I described it as digital smirking, kind of like, well, I mean, he said, gun deaths are a consequence of having the freedom of owning guns, so I guess that serves him right. It's what he would have wanted, and it's like, I don't think that any father of two small children wants to be shot in the throat so that he can't raise those children. I don't think anyone wants that, and like, oh well, he used hateful language and violent rhetoric, and therefore, how hilarious that he died a violent death. I don't think it's that funny. Personally, I don't think it's very funny at all that someone's getting shot in the neck for having a different viewpoint to someone else. I also feel like it's a bad thing to celebrate when, and this is what the right wing reaction has been in America, where it's kind of like, well, the last guy of our clan, of our tribe, tried speaking to you. The next guy won't, because we've just seen the last person who did got shot in the throat. And I think one of Charlie Kirk's main things was like, and I've seen it obviously a lot of the algorithms showing some stuff, that once you stop talking, then all that's left is violence. And if nothing else, he was talking. Like he was, and from what I can gather, like I say, he says some inflammatory shit. People are going to have a lot of heightened emotions about the things he says, the beliefs he holds. But whenever I've seen him communicate with those people about those issues where they don't agree, I only ever saw a man giving his opinions in a respectful manner, giving free and open space to the person the right of reply, answering the questions as best he could. A lot of the times people just got on the mic and just insulted him, saying he had like a massive face and shit like that, and he did. And there's some obvious jokes there about the accuracy of the shooter, fine. And can I also just stress as well, I don't even mind jokes about it, because I think you could joke about anything. You've just got to work out in your own head, is it funny enough to justify the potential offence that could be caused? And if you think, yeah, go ahead. Freedom of speech, right? That is literally by definition what freedom of speech is. You do that. And like, people would insult him and he would be like, okay, cool. Do you want to talk as they walk off? Do you want to talk about it? No? Okay, cool. On to the next guy. And he'd have debates, and he wouldn't always win those debates. And there's some points that he weren't right or was proven wrong, but it's irrelevant. The point I made on my Facebook was that it's wrong to celebrate someone being violently murdered just because of things they've said. And I think that should be pretty open and shut. Of course it isn't, because on social media, whenever you post anything, it basically draws two things. So what you're saying is, then proceed to bastardize everything you said, or the, yeah, but what about, which is, yeah, you've said this, but what about this, and this? And that's what a lot of the reaction was from some people on my thing, saying like, yeah, but, or so what you say? No, I'm not, like, all I'm saying is that I don't think we should take joy in a father of two small children being murdered. I don't think that's a good thing. And as I say, I think that should be pretty unanimously agreed upon. I saw a video of his, well, now widow, talking about how his 3-year-old daughter, and I think that's why it had such an effect on me, because obviously on a very different scale, but public speaker, I'd say I'm kind of that. And one day I'd like to have a similar amount of people give a fuck what I have to say as he did. And then you think, Jesus, could I be the victim of violence because some absolute fucking nut jobs can't just use words, so therefore have to use weaponry instead? Like, and he has a young daughter. I have a young daughter. They're the same age. And like, his widow was talking about how his daughter asked, where's daddy? And she had to say, daddy's on a business trip with Jesus to fund your blueberry bill, like the monthly money we spend on your blueberries. And that's fucking heartbreaking, man. And my point being, when I say you shouldn't be celebrating or taking joy in this guy's murder, is by celebrating this guy's murder, you're celebrating the fact that that conversation had to happen. You're taking joy in the fact that a mum has had to tell her 3-year-old that her father, who she's going to love unconditionally, is on a business trip with Jesus to pay for your blueberries. And it sounds quite fluffy and cute as a thing, but the reality behind those softened words for a 3-year-old's comprehension is you will never see your father again. He will never kiss you goodnight again. You'll never hug him again, because he had some ideas that people didn't agree with, and therefore he got shot. And people are finding that funny, cause for celebration. And it's the same people that I think their whole ideology is supposed to be centered on freedom of expression, a right to live how you feel is right, tolerance, understanding. And I don't think shooting someone in the throat, or and we don't know who what the shooter's political alignments were or whatever, irrelevant again to the point I was actually making, which is if you're celebrating it, then that's not showing much tolerance or understanding or a desire for free speech or to live in a way that you feel is appropriate for you. That seems to be contrary to that, in fact. So yeah, and what I am quite enjoying, I've got to be honest, in light of a lot of what they claim to not be cancel culture, where you see like quite a lot of artists and creative types being deplatformed. But it was always the thing was like, oh, it's not cancel culture. It's not anti-freedom of speech. It's, you have freedom of speech, but you don't have this freedom from consequence. And now you're seeing people that were doing videos celebrating the death of this person, and people getting hold of it and doing the same thing that you'd say the left, I guess. I hate using these terms because it's crazy that we have to be so tribal, but the left, screen grabbing people's tweets and then finding where they work on LinkedIn and then notifying their employer, and then that person then losing their job and not being able to, feed and clothe their family any longer. And I don't see why that's a plan that you think would cause any more tolerance or understanding or common ground when you put these already angry people into more despair. I think that's only going to create more conflict and more abrasion. But again, fine, different conversation for a different day. But people going and finding the people that were posting these videos celebrating the death of this person for his beliefs, and then finding their employers and losing them their jobs, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, it's not about freedom of speech, it's about not having freedom of consequence for the free speech you're exercising. And do you know what I mean? I was hoping, and it won't, but I was hoping this might be a thing where it goes the other way, where people go, fucking, we need to just relax a little bit here. We can't just keep killing people. We can't always be on the precipice of violence and aggression, because clearly it doesn't solve anything, right? Clearly it doesn't solve anything, because that's about as violent an act as you can get, and all it's done is polarize and tribalize more. So, yeah. And I had one person, to be fair, and I'm not going to dig her out. She lives in Texas, I believe. We go back a bit. We used to know each other a while back. And this is the kind of the how about. So I had the what you're saying is, which is basically like people going, oh, yeah, but so what you're saying is, what I'm saying, I'm not saying anything about like what he said. I say in the original post, like I don't agree with a lot of what he said, but that is and should be irrelevant to the point I'm making. You shouldn't be taking joy in the fact that a young family has been irreparably damaged for nothing more than someone's ideas, beliefs. And the other thing, the how about isms. So this girl was asking, well, do you also feel this way about things like school shootings and ICE, like the immigration officers in America? And I replied to that initial comment saying, I think celebrating the death of anybody innocent is not a good thing. Again, that's pretty much the point of my status and this whole thing here. But it was kind of pushed a bit further to go, it would be nice to hear you being quite as vocal about things like school shootings. I'm like, okay, but I think that should be taken as read, that I don't think children getting shot and killed is a good thing. But while I'm also here, I don't think it's a good thing to fuck pigeons. You'll also notice that my status didn't include anything about pigeon fucking. Like, we can't do everything. Every post and every status can't cover everything. And I respect her view, and again, I had a conversation with her. Again, I think that's a good thing. Wherein I said, of course, there are atrocious things that should happen. I will argue that my point again was more about the reaction to the event, not as much the event itself. And fortunately, or I'd suggest quite rightly so, I don't see many people celebrating children getting shot in schools. I don't see many people celebrating people being victims of unjust extraction or expulsion from America. I'd also point out that I live in Bedford, so that's a bit more that's a bit further removed from my life, and I can't help that. But yeah, it was kind of a weird line of some just kind of going, yeah, fair point, Dan, didn't agree with the bloke, but it's out of order to be celebrating that he's been shot. It's not a great move for democracy. It's not a great move for the right to express yourself freely. And yeah, then some just being like, well, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, but he did say this, and this. Yeah, okay, but irrelevant, because again, it's not about what he said. I can't remember who the guy is that said it, but I don't agree with what you say, but I'd die for your right to say it. And that's kind of, my actual point was. And then again, the other kind of the how abouts, but what about this? Yeah, also bad. Yep, also bad. But that doesn't stop this being wrong also. Yeah, and she did say, I'd like for you to use your voice, which clearly carries some weight, which is, a compliment in and of itself, if not an inaccurate compliment, to cast more light on such atrocities. And I take that on board, but like I said to her, that's not really what I believe my voice is for, which is why we are going to wrap this part up pretty quickly now. I feel like, there are people that are far better placed and appropriately intelligent than me to have a more ongoing dialogue about really serious, complex political and sociographical, is that a word? No, issues than me. But yeah, that was something where I kind of thought it's wrong to ignore something that I've really felt quite strongly about all week. But yeah, just to closing statement, I don't think we should take joy in the fact that an innocent person has been murdered publicly for the beliefs he holds. And I feel really bad for his family and his children. And yeah, I think we need to be very careful about the next few steps in our way of rebuilding what should be a constant striving to meet somewhere in the middle, right? It's weird that people get described as centralists. Like, everyone should be that. Because as far as I can gather, a centralist is someone who is open to the possibility that the answer might be more appropriate and conservative, but also in this other topic, it could be entirely appropriate for the solution to be a more liberal one. And therefore, you just navigate peacefully in the middle, working out what's best as and when things arrive at face value. And it's mad. But me being in that position, I swear I'd get cast as right-wing, and I couldn't be further from it. I really believe people should just be able to do whatever the fuck they like. Do what you want. Just don't hurt people while you're doing it. Be cool. Don't be a dick. Right? I don't know. It's crazy. It is crazy. I can't. It's mad that I'd probably be made right-wing now. But what I will say, and there's just so many fucking assholes on the far right, of course, goes without saying. And I won't be able to go too far into the Unite the Kingdom's rally, because I don't feel like they're all that either, by the way. Maybe we'll get to that in a second. We're going to have to, aren't we? But we're not going to have time for bestiality, okay? Or the prostitute's business card that I've got in the back of my phone, okay? We're not going to have time. But if me being right-wing, even if it's just slightly right of centre, makes me less like the people who are identifying as being very liberal, who are celebrating the death of a father of 2 small children, then maybe I'm okay as being not banded in with those, right? And I don't want to be with the others either, aware the R movement doesn't look great, but yeah. And that's Charlie Kirk. Fuck me. I think I did all right there. Yeah, so the Unite the Kingdom thing, very open and shut, really. I think, again, expression of freedom to say how you feel. I don't think... Fuck, this is actually quite the most serious show I've ever done, I think. I don't think the actual issue for a lot of people is manifesting in that it's about illegal immigration. That's a big part of it, right? For sure. But I think the real issue, is actually that people's lives are becoming more and more difficult. Your pound coin is getting squeezed even harder.
Squeeze every penny. Come on, let me hear you.
Squeeze every penny. I'm squeezing it. Hey. I squeezed so hard it went into my hand.
Expected to stretch even further. Your money's not going as far. Your leisure time is being massively impeded by how fatigued and tired you are for the amount of work you've got to do in order to just make ends meet. Soaring prices in utilities and travel. I don't know if that's included in that, probably. It feels like people are getting a rough deal now, and even those who were maybe once at least comfortable aren't anymore. And I think it's that frustration that is then leading people to become disillusioned with the country they are living in, right? Where it's, if you fix the fact that most people feel like they're just about fucking scraping by, if they're constantly just mouth and nose out the water, constantly having to kick frantically underneath to keep afloat, even though they're working a full-time job, or, there's 2 people working and, they have 1 or 2 children, fine. But people aren't, like, I can speak from our own situation here, right? We don't live lavishly. We don't smoke, we don't drink, we don't eat cheese, which is incredibly expensive. We try and reduce our meat intake because Insert joke about marriage here. Am I right, guys? We try and live as cheap as possible, man. We don't have exuberant lifestyles like... But, okay, so for as long as I'm going to a party and I'm getting a couple of soft drinks for me and my wife, who exists, and I'm like, hey, can I get 2 Diet Pepsis, please? And he... excuse me, pardon me.
Pardon me?
And he's like, yeah, sure, here you go. That's £7.80. For as long as that's happening, Unite the Kingdom marches are going to happen. Because it's fucking crazy now. And I reckon if you fix the standard of living for the everyday, normal, working class person, the less bothered they're going to be about people coming in and joining the party, right? Where it's like, I feel like we don't get enough support. I feel like my money doesn't go far enough. I'm struggling to feed, clothe, and keep my kids looked after. I'm struggling to have any expendable income for taking the fucking pleasurable things in life, right? And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, but now loads more people are coming into the country who are going to need support. And again, fine, they're fleeing fucking atrocious conditions. Fine, as I say, Jesus Christ, what a minefield. But ironically, probably things they're running away from, minefields. But like, if you sorted out the standard of living for these people, they'd be less prickly and agitated by people. It'd be more like, okay, well, we're good. Everyone's happy enough. We can afford a house and we can afford to have a pint on the weekend without having to think about fucking whether our child has lunch on Monday. Like, we can work shit out. Then it's like, yeah, come get a bit of this, guys. And there'll be, of course, some fucking mad racists there. I don't know, fuck you, get the colour chart out. No, sorry, you don't qualify. Like, fuck off. Fine. But I think for most people, it's a disillusionment with, hang on, why is life so difficult in what should be a socially advanced, an economically advanced country? Why is life so difficult when, like, it feels as though the technology is there, the infrastructure is there for us to not be having to do quite so much to just get by, to just scrape along? And if you fixed that, people would be more content in what they have and would be therefore as worried about what other people are getting as well as. That's going to be the root of any frustration, irritation, and cause for vitriol or anger. So if we just start to maybe... you go, oh, where's the money coming from? Easy answer, right? To go full Gary Stevenson, who again, look a little bit enough like, I'll get the weird mouth going. If we maybe just make the multi-billionaires pay their actual fucking due tax, then there'll probably be loads more money to make the people who aren't multi-billionaires a little bit more comfortable and thus less angry about other people getting a little bit of fucking crumb. Do you know what I mean? Right? Maybe don't make Pepsi's £7.80. You can buy a fucking 18 pack of cans for $5.99 from fucking Home Bargains, mate. You know? Yeah. I don't know. It's fractured at the minute. The world's a bit fucking angry. Very angry. I guess what you've got to remember is what you see on social media is always the extreme examples. It's the vocal minority on either side, right? Actually, most people in the middle, we're just trying to get along. Have a Jaffa cake every now and then. If we could afford it, if it's on offer. How mad is it that club cards are basically now deciding what you buy for snacks? It can't just be me that does that. Where it's like, I want to go to the shop, I want to get Jaffa Cakes. Jaffa Cakes is what I want, so thus that is what I'm going to get. Then I get there and it's like, oh, Jaffa Cakes aren't on the club card offer or whatever the fucking variation of this discount card would be. On this occasion, it's Maryland cookies. And again, they're fine, but that's not what I wanted. But that is now what I want because it's about £1.50 cheaper than the Jaffa Cakes were because they're not... And the way we can be now manipulated by that is crazy. But the fact that you've got, like, mate, do you remember when bags of, like, chocolate buttons were, like, £1? And quite often, places like Asda would go, get another one for free.
Help yourself to a honeycomb Yorkie for the glove box.
So, yeah, you see that pack of munchies you got there? It's buy one, get one free. They're £1, but you'll just chuck another one in. Fucking, you'll be lucky now to get a bag of Milky Buttons that ain't, like, one of them share bags. Who am I sharing it with? Who am I sharing it with? A fucking my imaginary friend, because there's only enough for one person. Like, the bag size you got now, they're gone before you've even pressed the skip fucking intro button on Netflix. Gone. Right? Nowadays, you do well to get one of them bags, a sustainable bag that will at least get you to the point where the first bit of controversy in the episode happens, past the previously on, you're going to do well to get that below like £2.30. It's insane. People are angry about chocolate buttons. That's what it really comes to, all right? And I think the way we solve that, cheaper chocolate for all, and make billionaires pay their tax. Problem solved. You're welcome, everybody. Anyway, we have our own conflict. Far more heated. Far more sinister. And that is because my two My two lads, Bill and Ben, who are 12 now, is the fact. Well, actually, I've just turned 12. Both 12 is the fact.
Is the fact.
Fucking Jesus. UN relations. I'm having to work so hard to keep them from being so violent to each other. So they have a thing in a minute where they had to do the... oh, by the way, I hope if one thing comes from them going to secondary school now, it is that Bill's vocabulary gets better. He tried to describe someone to his mum the other day, and the first descriptive term he used, because it's someone that she might know because his dad is still mates with him, and obviously his mum would have once moved in the same circles as his dad, because that's how things work. His opening bit to get him over as who he is, he was like, he's got he's got like big palms. Big palms. Big, not even big hands, big palms. Because someone says big palms, if someone says big palms, I think, what, with really tiny fingers? What the fuck's going on there? He's got a little fucking, do you know what I mean? Oh my God, and I don't know. Okay, do you know what? It happened, and therefore I'm going to tell you about it real quick. There was a person that I taught years ago, and he had like a thing with his hand where I don't know what it is, but like, you know, when you get like, you have the hand, but then like you don't quite have fingers. They're like little nubbins. That's the only word I can think of. I'm gonna try. Like, just trust me, please. I'm not trying to fucking mock it, but they're kind of like little like nubbins on the hand, right? And this kid was a good sportsman, good at football, like a good lad. He had a bit about him. Like, fine, right? This is no shade on this lad. He was, do you know what? A good kid, for sure. Popular, bit of a lad, so therefore probably a bit defensive because of that. Fine, okay, right. So that's set the landscape. But I was teaching a lesson once, and it was indoor football because, you know, I'm a supply teacher. How'd you win with a boys' PE group? Do football, right? And this kid in the class was not very good at football. This other kid, as I say, was good at football. Again, it's always going to be a little bit offensive, fine, okay, but this happened, right? And I maintain it was just, sometimes you've got to accept things are just funny. And they're playing football, and this other kid who's just not a footballer, right? He's just not a footballer. He is completely fucking shit. The ball goes to him, and he fucks it. Do you know what I mean? Like, he fucks it. And eventually this lad just loses patience with him, and he's like, "Oh my God, like Harry, like whatever his name would have been, you're fucking shit. You're so fucking shit at football." And he's like, "Yeah, like I know." And he lets it go, He's on his team because obviously you can't have all the good kids in the same team. So there's a few stronger, a few weaker footballers. And you're fucking shit, and he's just on him for like the whole lesson. And to get to where I have to keep going, like, mate, like easy, like, you know. Eventually, this kid just snaps to him. He's like, "You're fucking shit at football." And he replied. He went, "Yeah, but I'd smash you at FIFA." And it's like, fuck me. Okay. Now I'm going to go to find... I need to go look in the PE cupboard for something of paramount importance right now. Because I can't keep a straight face at that point. Yeah, but I'd smash you at FIFA. On account of the, you know?
Don't keep saying it, but...
And as a teacher... It's a weird one because it's like, do you know what? You've been an arsehole to him all lesson. And to be fair, he took his medicine. I think he actually smirked because he's like, do you know what? Yeah, fucking fair play. That's actually very funny. But there's times as a teacher we have to go, do you know what? Sometimes social hierarchies kind of have to take care of themselves. That kid had to just stand up for himself. And he did it. And do you know what? Okay, yeah, it was quite funny. It reminded me as well, my brother, he hates this, but like he's missing a knuckle in his thumb. He didn't realise he was like 12 or 13. And I'll tell you what, an advantage when you're playing against him on PES, Pro Evolution Soccer, which back in them days was the OG. That was the game, because obviously with him having like a fused thumb, he didn't know if it was gonna, you know, shoot or just pass, because he's gonna have to just have a bit of a stab at the buttons and hope for the best. It's a real advantage. But yeah, fuck me. I don't know why that came up, but it did. Oh, big palms, little hands. Yeah, big palms, by the way. And surprisingly, M didn't get who it was straight off of that. He needed a bit more description. Big fucking palms. But yeah, so they do the draining board, right? That's their only job external of their bedroom. It's to keep the draining board cleared. And it, you know, to get it sort of up and running again, sometimes they'd split it and share it. Sometimes they'd take turns. But I was like, right, okay, we need to draw a line under this, because it's like either you take turns or you do it together every time, because then it becomes, I did it last time, blah, blah, blah. So, of course, because conflict is always fucking first on the agenda, I was like, right, do you want to take turns or do you want to do it together every time? One says take turns, one says do it together all the time. I'm like, okay, fuck it. We're taking turns because that we can get on top of it. I was like, right, here's how it's going to work. I'm going to get the equivalent of like a chess thing with the flags where you have you go and you hit the thing. But I was like, right, we've got a poker chip. We've got a white poker chip and a red poker chip, right? Now, white, who wants to be white, who wants to be red? Okay, we're going to have a conflict about that. So I have to flip a coin to see who has the red poker chip, who has the white poker chip. But flipping a coin in and of itself isn't enough because then there's going to be an argument of, yeah, but you didn't flip it properly, blah, blah, blah. So I had to flip a coin to decide, this is fucking full conspiracy man on the wall, I had to flip a coin to decide who would get to guess which hand the coin was in order to choose who got the red or the white chip. But not only that, I had to flip a coin, me randomly assigning heads to one, tails to the other, Doctor close his eyes there because it's important, to decide who got to make the call of heads or tails to see who would get to guess about which hand was, had the coin in it behind my back to decide who got the red and white chip. So do all that. Of course, insane. But then it's like, right, okay, but we're going to have to start at some point with who goes up first. So the idea being, if you do it, you flip and at first, we'll have to run out of tokens. No, you're not going to put a new token on each time. You're just going to flip it. So if the red is up, that means that Ben is next up to do the draining board. If the white is up, then that means Bill is up next to do the draining board. So when you've done the draining board, clear, you flip it. And I was like, and if you forget to flip it, tough fucking titties, you're still next up. Because whatever colour's up, that's next up. And we had to then do the whole, I had to flip in my head, decide who got to make the call, to heads or tails, to decide which hand it's in, to then decide who was the one who's going to start first, to be the one to start, And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? How is this my life? But it's required because there's always going to be, oh no, that's not fair because... But at a minute, like I said it last week, they want us off their case, but it's like, but you need to get on your own first before we can get off. I'd love to get off. Like, that's what I'm hoping for. I want to be able to just go... I'm sure once they've had their omelettes they've made that there isn't basically a fucking coating of egg wash across the whole kitchen. I'd love to that just be taken as read that doesn't stay that way, but it doesn't at this point. The last time I checked, we didn't go for the kitchen that had the dried super noodles, powder and crumbs all over the hob. It was offered to us when we were getting our new kitchen. Do you want the dried noodles all over the hob? We opted out, but they're going to fucking sprinkle them over there and go, probably fine, fuck it. But, yeah, so anyway... The issue with the draining board as well that I could thought I've got to like think of the possible inevitabilities of, okay, but what if there's only one spoon on the draining board? They could go, right, clear that, bang, flip, and then the next one's got loads of shit. I was like, and that is something you have to accept. It's tough shit again. If there's loads, if it's a mountain or if it's a molehill, if you're up, it's you that's up. And if you want to get like competitive with it, tap into that boy's proclivity for competition, and there's a spoon and a bowl and you do it, flip the fucking token, go ahead, open season. But then I was like, because then Bill came down first for breakfast in the morning, and there was just Libertine's bowl and spoon. And he was about to make more washing up because he was about to eat breakfast and stuff. Then he did it and flipped the token. So I had to throw a flag in and be like, we're going to have to make another little adjustment to the rules here, because all that's going to do is then cause fucking argument, because what they're then going to do is wake up and they're going to like rush to be the one to get down to just clear Libertine's breakfast stuff. And that will very quickly descend into one of them setting another alarm, or like a vibrating alarm on their watch or whatever the fuck, and then just lingering over the other one's bed. And the moment that actual alarm comes on, they're going to fucking whack him out cold and then get dressed, run downstairs and do one spoon and bowl, flip the thing. It's like, right, it can't be just before a meal, Heskey, because you're just about to make fucking washing up, right? And also, don't even think about being like just flipping it when nothing's been done, because if I catch you doing that, you're doing it for a month. But this is the detail. And it's like, I don't have time for this shit, man. Fucking hell. But yeah. But they're at that party and the Wi-Fi was crap at this place, and therefore they couldn't cope. And it's trying to explain to them that, like, once upon a time, lads, you just wouldn't have a phone. But Jesus Christ, where they were then just in each other's shit, just winding each other up, winding up my daughter who was already tired and hungry after swimming. And obviously surprise parties. They always know. I think that they tried to still get it over that he didn't know. He knew. Because it's like, I think she's even saying, I overheard this, it was like, he's getting ready to go, but it's not quite time yet because people won't be where they're going. That's the surprise party. So she's gone, I need a shit, actually. This might take about 35 to 40 minutes. Like, and she was telling everybody, like, you need a shit as well. Like, and then he comes in and it's like, they're videoing it. It's, oh, surprise, happy birthday. And he's like, uh-huh. And I think they're waiting for him to give a speech, but he didn't. And actually, because the lady who was at the pub was taking them to what would be their table, she came through the curtain first. So actually, tabard lady who works there got the happy birthday wishes. Probably weren't her birthday. If it was, then bonus. But, like, the video is going to be him to be like, huh. And people are still videoing. And it's just kind of like, there's a pause. And it's like, he must, because it's kind of like the cat comes out of the bag because he might have gone, I don't know if he plays golf, but, I might play golf on like the 14th. Oh, don't do that. Why? No reason. The 14th September. Oh, no.
Oh no.
Notoriously bad luck to play golf on the 14th. Oh, okay, maybe go bowling then. No, don't do anything. Why? Oh, it's my birthday around that weekend. You're not planning anything for my birthday, are you? No, of course we're not. Just don't do anything on the afternoon of the 14th of September, please. And we're going to the fucking, the Pirate Ship's Arms, whatever the fuck the pub was called. Why are we going there? Because you love it there. Well, I mean, it's okay. No, you love it there. Like, so you know the cat would have come out somehow. But anyway, we're there at that party and it's fine. But fucking Jesus, say that Pepsi done me there. I was in a bad mood from then on. When I was like, I'd get us a couple of soft drinks, like, you know. And it's £7.80. I'm like, no, do you know what? Fucking a pub a day club. Good. Stop taking the fucking piss. This is why you're closing. All right. Creative 18 at home bargains, $5.99. Scandal. This is why there's United Kingdom fucking protests. Okay. Viva the Tommy Robinson. I guess no, that's fucking stupid. Right. Buggy update. So, again, previously on. It's Monday! Now, I've got a buggy. Okay, let's just so you probably sat there worried. You're probably sat there on tentacle hooks right now. You're worried. I've got one. It's not this one. And I'll tell you for why. So, obviously, she comes back with Wednesdays. And I'm like, okay, so I'm like, no, we can't do today. As I said, she came back saying Wednesday's fine. She then said, the board at the back of the seat is broken, but doesn't affect the use as stated in the description. So I've got back with, is that the board that a kid would kind of stand on? You know, getting boards that are kind of like, oh, by the way, I saw a fucking mum doing a school run once where it was like Russian dolls, her on an electric scooter, and it was her daughter and her younger child. And the younger child she went off road to get around this crowd, and the younger child's head was just like banging repeatedly off the fucking bar. So fucking funny. But anyway. I said, okay, I didn't catch that part in the description. I'm going to leave it then, thanks. Because I said, is it the back bit? Like the board bit, right? And she was like, no, like it's the back of the seat. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't catch that in the description. I think I'll leave it then. Because the seat as part of a buggy, I don't want to come back with all these like high concepts, but the seat part of the buggy, quite important. I don't want to sort of sat there with like a jagged bit of wood sticking into her back. Do you know what I mean? She said, okay, but for the price, it's still amazing. So I replied, but the seat being broken kind of defeats the point, right? My daughter is the one that's going to have to sit in it, and I feel like a broken backboard isn't going to be particularly comfortable for her. All the best selling it. It's only the top half that's broken, so the seat is still usable. The only way that you'd be able to know it's broken, if, again, typos here, if it's good, but is by looking at it, unfortunately. I said, I know it's hard to explain via text, but broken how? Snapped? How high up the back of the board is it? Is it sticking out, etc.? The buggy, and she just replies, the buggy is a £200 pram, and I'm selling it for £30. It's usable. And then I said, I appreciate that, but equally, there's a reason it's still sat on Marketplace unsold, right? I'd really appreciate that she offered to do a video to show me. She didn't, and I've moved on anyway. It's fine. But the whole, like, oh, it's £200, I'm selling it for 30. It's a great price. It's amazing. Why isn't it sold then? On today's edition of You're Never Fucking Getting That, by the way, there was I did screen grab it. It was a Mario Kart. I'll get a picture. It was like a Mario Kart like thing where you see it. Oh, I love that shit on TikTok. I like when it's marbles and you pick a colour. I get so into it, but I get so cross when it goes wrong. I pick the yellow marble and it just fucking lags. And I'm like, this is fucking rigged. It's a fucking disgrace. But I've seen it with like cars as well. They even include like little jumps and shit. It's like a Mario Kart thing of that. And it's quite cool, right? It's quite cool. It's up there and they want £100. And it's like, you're not getting £100 for it. Yeah, it's at 45 already. It's like, it's cool when all the cars lined up and they all go. But what you really quickly realise after a few goes of it, it takes up a lot of fucking space. 1. 2, it's not as good as Mario Kart, the game. Like, it just isn't as good. So it's on 45 right now. But yeah, I think it still hasn't sold. The one I got got it for free, which is an absolute touch. It's like a proper running buggy as well. Got big old fucking wheels. I did find one where she was like, oh, the tyres have punctures. And I was like, okay, maybe I can replace the tyres. But then I found one that was like free. And the people were lovely. So posh. So posh when I got there. Like, oh, hello. Like, hiya. And then like, yeah, you know, served us brilliantly. You know, it's for, we used it for our daughter who's now 21 years old. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Like the instructions are still in the bottom and it's like yellowed paper. It's like the oldest book in the library. Shit.
This is the oldest book in the library. Shit.
So old, but the oldies are goldies, mate. They're built right. So, yeah, we just need to get a rain guard now. Because, yeah, we can zip and nip. It's so good. I'm just one hand in this bitch doing admin. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, we got it all solved in the end. All's well that ends well. But, fuck me. Yeah. Hey, it's a great price, all right? And, yeah, she's gone radio silent on me. I'm sure it's been snapped up. As snapped as the backboard of the buggy. There you go. But, yeah, needless to say, I got the last laugh. And, do you know, the reason we need that rain guard as well is because I can't be being fucking Michael Fish, the weatherman, every time I want to walk her, like, and the dog. So, we need to get a good rain guard because my, like, lot of mercy. The rain, I nearly drowned in it. Insane in the membrane, right? Last week, biblical floods. By the way, I've started listening to the Bible. Okay, I'm on like Genesis chapter 12. And yeah, we've had the Great Flood, Noah, etc. I'm getting quite clued up. It's interesting, man. But anyway, I'm not going to care after about, I don't know, whatever the fucking next book is. Probably going to be done with it. But biblical floods. I nearly drowned on land. There was one casualty, and it was my AirPod. Because it just got, I was just walking along. I'm walking the dog. My daughter went with me. The dog was like, he curled up in a ball. She's like, what the fuck is this shit? I'm like, no, I agree, but we can't stay here. This is like the Somme. You've just got to keep moving forward, right? Because if you stay here, you're a sitting duck. Ducks probably get less wet than we did. And just out of nowhere, it was raining every fucking which way. It's raining sideways. Thank you, Ollie.
It's raining sideways.
Like, it was, I've never known rain like it. It was like, and it just swirling about. I was struggling I couldn't get my breath. I was like having to go like, I was doing like, you know, when you see them swimming, like Phelps and that, and then they go, I was basically having to do that. I was walking like, turn my body from one of the ways the rain weren't going to get air in, and I was breathing in water. It was insane, but then the water just ripped my fucking my AirPod out, you know, Samsung bud thing, took it down the fucking River Nile that had been created. I kind of caught it on the volley, and do you know what made it more annoying? The only reason it came out in the first place, I think it was loosened because I phoned Ben from Bill and Ben the Flower Pot Man to be like, hey mate, I'm in this biblical flood right now. Can you just get the towel from the downstairs bathroom and bring it to like where the double doors are that I come in, because I'm going to need to dry the dog because he's soaking wet and he'll just go fucking rough shot on the downstairs, get his shit everywhere, right? And he's going, hang on, what? I'm like, I need the towel from the bathroom to be by the double doors. I'm going to bring the dog in because it's very wet and I'm going to need to dry the dog. And he's like, so hang on, what, the towel? And I'm like, I keep saying it. Every time I say that, my jaw moves. It loosens that a little bit more, that little bit more, that little bit more. It's quite open and shut, bruv. Bring a towel to the door. The dog's going to be soaked like a fucking fish. Loosen, loosen, loosen. Whoosh, out it goes. I kind of catch it on the volley as I'm walking. Gerard!
But Gerard, you beauty! What a head, son! What a head!
Gone. I'll go back to try and find it later on. Nowhere to be seen. R.I.P. of course. And it was my old but gold trusty, the one where the left doesn't work, but it doesn't matter because my left ear don't work either. It's my old but gold one, and it was comfy and I liked it, and maybe it's a little bit tism, but like I liked having the backup. I had another set. I bought a newer set, the Buds 2, like, and these were like the OG Buds one. Whoosh, out and gone. I've looked a few more times since. Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, it's ruined.
Yeah, they're ruined.
Fuck me. Like, I got home, and it's one of them ones where, like my pubes were wet. How are my pubes wet? From rain? Just to make it very clear, I weren't walking naked. It weren't a Vietnam walk. And even then, I do wear pants. Just, you know, you're like peeling it off you. Like, you've just, like, the dog's fucking soaked through, and then dry time for him he thinks is like fuck with the towel time, trying to bite it. So I'm like, obscene. So, but I need a rain guard because I want to be able to just take Bertie out in all weather. We walk the dog in the morning, we zip around. But yeah, so we need to get one. But they're quite expensive. But we've bought a few cheap ones in the past. And what you're essentially doing is just laying some cling film over the top of the fucking buggy. So we're going to get a good one. It's going to be a bit spenny. But as the buggy was free, you know, you weigh that up, carry the one. Should be fine. Right, fuck me. I need to do my memories. I'm cross about YouTube. We'll get into that. I finally got caught. I had a little workaround. Finally got caught. And now I've got to pay full whack. I've got to pay full whack for YouTube. And I'm cross about it. Okay? Can't get away with being in India anymore. Finally, they've got me. And do you know what's mad? I'll do it real quick. I've accepted it. I'm seeing it in my head as an investment. So I'm going to, where I once had just a throwaway account for my YouTube Premium, I'm going to have it on my RuMayoNation one where you can watch this podcast in its entirety. By the way, action marker. Like, by having Premium, you get more money per views. And we're not at that point yet at all, to be very clear. But I'm seeing it as an investment to make it a bit better in my head. But here's the thing, right? It's $12.99. And I tried to sign up for it on my iPad because it was just, I was there doing it on my iPad at the time that I hit an advert. I was trying to put my stabilizers on my daughter's bike. I opened the video on YouTube and there's an advert and I was like, full. Pikachu, full, fuck it. Sorry. And I knew it was coming, but still I was like, bereft. The advert come. I'm not having this. No. So I try and I'm like, and eventually I signed up onto it on my phone. Because I went on my iPad, and on my iPad it was like, it's $16.99. I was like, but it's $12.99. Why is it $16.99 on my iPad? What the fuck kind of thing, right? So that was it. I'd done it on my phone, and then when I was on my iPad, it was still on that old account. So it was like upgrade. And I clicked on it to see what kind of it would offer me, if it would offer me a free trial, because I could try and like double bank free trials, right? Because I got a free month. But yeah, so it's $16.99. I was like, I ain't gonna fuck about what? Because it's on the iPad, because it's a bigger screen. That don't make any sense, because it's on my telly, and that's a massive screen. So like, you know, show off. But it's $16.99 on Apple because Apple charges YouTube or whoever the fuck like a 30. So then they kick it onto the price to cover the fact that Apple takes a bit from. So it's like another 30%. I think that I chatted to my mate Bitterman about it, and he's like, yeah, it's another 30% on Apple. But who's paying that? He's like, yeah, people like it for the convenience, being all in one place, you know, press of a button, the thumbprints, just pay it through. I'm like, I'm sorry, doing this once isn't worth £4 a month every month. What's that, a year? Carry the one a lot.
Quick maths.
No one, surely no one. If you've got that much fucking money that you're like, oh, fuck it, I'll just pay £4 more a month because I don't want to have to boot it up on my fucking computer, then fuck you. You should be paying more tax into the fucking system, okay? It'd be them cunts, wouldn't it? It'd be them. Because they're like, that's like, it's nutting. Senseless waste.
Senseless waste.
Get me.
Phone shop, what a show, by the way. But yes, I've got it. The algorithms reset at 0 again. I'm gonna be very careful what the first sort of videos I start to search up because you know, we're cultivating a new algorithm now. It does mean my watch later list is now gone. Got to start building that up again. The and he never watched it again list. But yeah. Anyway, let's get into Facebook memories real quick.
Fucking raw.
Judge yourself accordingly, and then we'll get out of here. It's ran a bit long, but you know we had to get political up in this bitch to start with. 4 years ago today, it's a gig. Photos of the gig for Big Deal. I think they're still going. They put good nights on. I was DJing a power ballads and 80s disco. They were always unreal, by the way. Like, always well attended. I didn't know half the shit I was about to play. I kind of went, play that, and then I'd go crazy. I'm like, yeah, nailed it. I used to DJ because my mate DJ'd, and then he was like, oh man, it's so boring. Can you come and like keep me company? I'm like, yeah, of course I can. And he'd be like, right, I'm gonna go get a drink. Don't start trying to record scratch on Earth, Wind and Fire. I'm like, why would I do that? I'm like, a million kisses from you. I don't even have. That's probably not even them. What's the fucking Earth, Wind and Fire? I don't fucking know. But either way, doing like rude distorting voices and shit. I'm like the Daft Punk of the disco world. All right. 8 years ago today, Hemel Hems, this is for someone who I know who went to my gig. Hemel didn't appreciate Pistorius jokes. Eye roll. Yeah. It's a naughty joke. The whole idea was that one of his defense like things in court said that he was on bodybuilding supplements that might have inhibited his reactions and exacerbated his reaction to a perceived threat in his home. And then my joke was, if he was on bodybuilding supplements, the ones he got must have been from IKEA because the body he built was missing 2 legs. Okay, bit naughty, fine, but usually it goes over so well. But Hemel, not so much. And I think, do you know what? I didn't have it framed as well as all that. I think, do you know what it is with a lot of jokes that don't get over? It's how you frame it. It's how you get it over. It's how you put it across. And I weren't quite experienced enough to do it in the right way. So I'm going to take that one. I'm going to say that was me. Fine. Guitar untuned, me very untuned. Okay, I was writing songs apparently. My God, you're deep. No, they will never see the light of day. 9 years ago, after nearly an hour phone conversation with Universal Credit, does anybody have a will to live I could borrow, please? Apparently, I've done the worst thing possible that anyone on the dole could do, and that is to actually get a job. How foolish of me. Yeah, that's a fucking con, mate. If you're on the dole, the worst thing you could do is start getting some work, because you get punished for it, which is why the next time I signed up, when it comes to like the job you want to do, I was like, well, I want to be a stand-up comedian or an astronaut. So either way, I'm going to be on the Apollo, right? And then I used to just sit there every time, turn up, and then like you have to do 10 things to prove you're trying to find a job. And it could be a thing like, oh, I asked my mate if there's any jobs at his place of work. And then it's like, and what's he do? Oh no, he's unemployed as well. Like, and that would count. That would count. I remember every week this guy would turn up. Every other week would turn up with a Mr. Lazy t-shirt on from Mr. Men and be like, "Yeah, no, I'm trying really hard to get a job like that." And I respected it every time. And I know it was on purpose. But yeah, I used to rig the system a little bit, naughty. But you know what? As I say, pales into insignificance when it comes to like Google, Starbucks, Etal not paying their fucking tax. All right.
Give me a fucking break.
But yeah, I remember just being sat in those fucking things where it's like, yeah, no, what else are you doing? Just yeah, but, you know, just been applying for different things, man, and stuff. Like, you know, my brother, he's a pharmaceutical chemist with a PhD, so like I just sort of, you know, could I maybe get in on that shit? And how did that go? Well, yeah, obviously I said no because I'm a fucking idiot. So yeah, you can abuse it. You really bought a paper. Well, I didn't buy it, just found it on the looked at the jobs bit in the paper, and they'll just tick it off. I mean, I was getting fuck all money. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's have it right again. Tiny. 10 years ago today at Dublin Castle, having a swig for our boys Pete and Carl. I'm guessing going to see the Libertines, I don't know. 12 years ago today, try saying I like cops without your lips touching. Go on. I like cops without your lips touching. Enjoy it. 13 years ago, 6 tequila shots and counting. I'm essentially Mexican now. # call me Pedro. 13 years ago, oh, how poetic. 13 years ago, an Apple fan walks into a bar, orders the same drink as yesterday, but pays more. Yeah, ahead of the curve. My Bebe Mishifre, my BBM pin, that's Turkish, # culture. 16 years ago today is combing his fro. What a dick. 16 years ago today, 4.5 fucking hours in a room on my own, no TV, no radio, no food, nothing, just to be told, sorry, we can't do your thing today, but we can book you in again for the 29th of September. Great, so now I miss Freshers Week 2. Fan-fucking-tastic, not impressed, could happily kill right now. I ended up having it. It was a circumcision, if you're wondering, and you know what? I had the option to not, like, they were going to Brecon Beacons at university as like an orienteering thing for outdoor adventurous activities, because I did a really serious, like, course, and I chose to get some of my penis cut off instead. And I stand by that decision. I back it. I'd make the same decision again. Yeah, they ended up doing it in the end. We won't get into why, okay? Just, you know, the way I lived. 16 years ago today, rah, man's bare on sleeping and ting, get me. That said, bid you all good night, my outlandish friends. Peace. What a dick. Yeah. 17 years ago today, ha ha ha, we've won a holiday to any destination we want, ha ha ha, yeah, get in. No, we didn't, it was bullshit. Okay, there we go. Don't believe everything you read on the internet. If we learned nothing else, and we didn't, don't do that. This Lando Monster is good shit. Like, share, subscribe, tell your mates, all of that. Cheers for listening, I really appreciate you. Won't be as political next week. But yeah, just fucking pack it in, alright? Yeah, cool. I love you all. Usually, sometimes. Cool. Catch you later, usual shit. Shut up then.